I'd like you to meet Dustin. At 17, Dustin was diagnosed with a tumor in his chest and almost immediately had a PIC inserted. After a month, a port was placed for his continued treatment and his PIC was removed. I sat down with Dustin and his dad Dale at Valley Children's Hospital in Madeira, California, to discuss his procedures, recovery, and what it's like living with a central line. I hope you take a minute to listen to Dustin. His experience, attitude, and outlook make this a must-see for patients and caregivers facing the prospect of needing treatment via central line. I think you'll agree that this 18-year-old's advice is insightful and inspiring for patients and caregivers alike. Thanks for watching. Hi, Dustin. Thanks for talking to me. So I'd like to start with hearing from you about your vascular access experience.
Well, I was diagnosed back in July of 2017, so I got my PICC line it was basically when I got diagnosed, I got a PICC line, and because the tumor I had, they couldn't put in the port right away, so that's why I had to get the PICC line. And then a couple months after that is when they put the port in, when the tumor had shrunk enough. So,
before you got your PICC, what were your thoughts and or concerns?
I didn't really know what to expect, I'll be honest with you. I really didn't know what to expect. I went in for a normal procedure and they did the PICC line in that spinal tap procedure, so they kept me awake I'm pretty sure they just kept me awake while they put the line in. You don't feel anything at all. Honestly, they numb everything. That you're awake, but you're out of it, so you don't feel anything. And I'm being honest, it was kind of cool because they had the little X-ray machine above me, and I could kind of see what they were doing at the same time. And everyone was super nice and talking to me through the whole thing, so I wasn't, nervous or anything during it. It was just, it was a lot better than I had expected.
What was it like living with your PICC?
Well, the PICC, it wasn't the most fun, I'll be honest, because it was just kind of in the way. If I was wearing a short sleeve, it would still be kind of sticking out, which it wasn't that bad, but you couldn't get it wet, so if you were going to shower or anything like that, you couldn't swim. They won't let you swim unless you wrap that thing up really, really good, but they really didn't want you to swim. So if you're going to take a shower, you got to put some bag and tape over your arm to make sure it stays dry. It's not all that great, but it's not bad. Like, it doesn't mess up your lifestyle or anything like that. They had they had home nurses that would come to my house once a week to change it and flush it and just make sure everything with that is okay. Like I said, it wasn't the most fun, but it wasn't bad.
What were the dressing changes like?
Well, I only did that a couple times. I didn't do that all that much, but it wasn't nothing that hurt at all. It was just basically making sure that it was all clean, and it was nothing that hurt, though. That's what I can say.
We're going to transition a little bit now and talk about your port. When you were told you were going to get a port, were you nervous? What were your thoughts prior to surgery?
I wasn't nervous going into surgery. I was nervous before that when they were kind of explaining it. I didn't really know what to expect. But once I knew I was going to go get it, okay, you're going into surgery, you get it right now. It was a lot better with people that were explaining it to me, and the surgery wasn't bad at all, The recovery, it took a few days. Your arm, it was on my left side, so my arm was a little bit sore. I couldn't really do a lot with that arm, but it's not anything that stops you from everyday things.
So if you got to go back and pick, would you want your port or your PICC as the first go?
Oh, definitely the port. I'd go straight to the port if you have the option to, because it's a lot better. You can have a lot more normal of a lifestyle. So you can swim, you can shower. If you like to take baths, you can take a bath. You can get the skin wet. And with the Emla cream, you put the Emla cream on, and when they go and put the needle in, you don't even feel it if it's been on long enough. So it's a really great thing to have, and you can have, like I said, a lot more normal of a lifestyle. You when you're just going around your business, you don't even know it's there. So you don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, but you don't even know it's there if you're just walking around every day doing everything.
So needle access. Needle access doesn't hurt. You talked about EMLA cream.
Mm-hmm.
And for the folks that are just hearing this or watching this, explain what that is.
Well, it's a cream that you put on your skin, and you got to put, they call them tegaderms, you put the tegaderms over it, and it basically numbs the whole area that the cream is at, so when they go put the needle in, you don't feel it. It's usually, they made it obviously for anyone, but mainly for, smaller children who don't like needles and get hurt really easy and are scared. But I use it because I also hate needles, so you just put it on hour or two before your appointment, and when they go and put the needle in, you really won't even feel it. You may feel a little tiny pinch, but it's nothing major at all. And obviously you don't have to use the cream. You do feel the needle like it was a normal needle going into your skin, but it's really not anything horrible. There's really not much to it. You just don't want to sweat it. It's obviously you're going to be nervous going into it, but once you have it, it's really not much. You just live your life like normal, and it's not really going to get in the way of anything.
What was the recovery like just after you had your port placed? Did you need ice packs or heat? Anything of that sort?
I really didn't use anything. I didn't need it. I really couldn't help much with that because I didn't use anything. It was only there for a couple days. The soreness, I was still able to move around. I could still drive. Just you couldn't really lift a lot of stuff, but it wasn't anything major.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You are awesome on camera. I think you have a new career ahead of you. Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah, no problem.
I now have the pleasure of speaking to Dale, Dustin's dad. Dale, thanks for talking to me. Please tell us what it's like to be the caregiver for a child with the central line.
You always are concerned about your child, and with the PICC line, it was always, gosh, I hope that thing doesn't get tangled up in something, and he moves wrong and it gets yanked out. Then what do I do? We had the home health care come out and teach us how to hook his fluids up and his lipids, and how to clean the lines, how to flush the lines, what time to do this, what time to do that. Right. So there was somebody that came home and actually trained my wife and I on how to do that kind of stuff.
Did that make you more comfortable? Did you feel confident when you first did it?
There's a little anxiety that goes along with it. But when you do it once or twice, 3 or 4 times, it becomes, you get a little more comfortable with it. And then, if you have a spouse or a significant other that's in the house, you have a written list of what to do in what order, so that if you're doing it, the other person can make sure you're doing it right, or if the other person's doing it, you can make sure that they're doing it right. And then, our son was 17 when he diagnosed, so if we didn't get it right, he could tell us, you're not doing it right.
I'm sure he loved that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's perfect. Do you have advice for other parents or other caregivers, I should say, that are there to support their person?
Yeah, I mean, just and not every parent is going to have to go home and hook their kid up with the fluids and all that. And really, the Metaport is just, I mean, it's standalone. It gets installed in your child, and like Dustin said, his shoulder was sore for 2 or 3 days, but after that, it's just it's just there for the duration. It's simple.
Thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Our team at the Association for Vascular Access would like to thank all those involved in this project, specifically Dustin and Dale Letson, Valley Children's Hospital, the Vascular Access Specialists, Child Life Specialists, Marketing and Communications, and all of the staff, patients, and families. Check back as we continue to upload new content to AVA Academy. AVA can be found at avainfo.org. That's AVAINFO.org. Please follow us on Twitter at ISaveThatLine. Like us on Facebook at Association for Vascular Access. And tune in to Ava's own podcast where we discuss all things related to vascular access. The I Save That podcast is available on SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. This video is the property of the Association for Vascular Access and is intended for educational purposes only. No part of this video should be reproduced, transmitted, or sold in whole, in part, or in any form without the express written consent of the Association for Vascular Access. Any use of this video or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this video without Ava's consent is strictly prohibited. This video is intended as information only. Ava does not provide medical advice. Please discuss your concerns and questions with your medical provider. Thank you.